To build connection, the best way to do that is to find commonality. I think that's a good way.
Right.
I'm not taking anything away from that, but I think the best way to build it is to make it about them. And so if you're genuinely interested in other people, uh, which like break down the skill set about. That means you're good at asking questions. That means that you are good at listening. That means that you show good body language. That means that you have good eye contact. But the principle of focusing on being interested, not interesting, it works. And so I like to break down lots of ways we can do that. I'll share one that's like a very practical application of that. One of the things that I teach a lot of audiences, leaders in particular, is what I call the rule of two. I think everybody listening has probably had a conversation where the person you're talking to tends to one up everything that you say. They probably do it in like trying to find connection, but it kind of feels like they hijack the conversation. You say something and they're like, well, you know what happened to me?
I agree. Right.
Okay. Right. It happens all the time. I'm guilty of it too. Because what happens as soon as like you share a story, Charles, like in my mind, a story pops in. I'm like, I want to share this. Right. And I want to
Right.
jump right in. But the way we do it, we kind of make it feel like, okay, let's stop talking about you and now let's talk about me. And you're like,
Right.
okay, we don't validate what they're saying. So to help myself with this, I invented what I call the rule of two. Anytime somebody says something about themselves, I have to ask at least two questions before I can talk about myself. Instead of just jumping into me, I'm going to validate, ask like, "Well, that's really interesting, Charles. Tell me more about that. What about this? How do you do this?" And then there's probably a natural flow for me to share in that conversation.